this election season, we have seen waves of compromised online security.
And it makes you wonder, if there's a breach on such a large scale, then how is the average consumer supposed to protect themselves?
Fox 7's Elizabeth Saab took an in-depth look at this problem. She joins us in studio with more tonight. Elizabeth? Rebecca and Mike, from WikiLeaks hacking Hillary Clinton's campaign chair's email, the recent cyber attack that caused massive internet outages across the U.S. Security experts say no one is safe. Some governments have even resorted to handwriting their intelligence communications instead of sending them electronically. As for the average consumer, those same security experts warn it will only get worse.
I check my bank account every evening. One evening I tried to log in and noticed that my password had been changed without my having done it.
Jeff Curley's story is familiar to tens of thousands of Americans.
The bank didn't flag it, contact me.
But what makes this sort of tale even more harrowing is that it's tied to a 6-year-old memory that tore his family apart.
My son was suffering from depression, and when he chose to end his life, which he actually did right here at our house.
Since then, Curley has been using Alan's passion for music through the nonprofit Pick with Austin to help others who are suffering too.
We use music to help at-risk kids and teens to fight depression.
And when thieves attacked Curley's personal bank account, they unknowingly nearly destroyed the nonprofit too, because the accounts are linked. It's been 9 months, and he's still dealing with the fallout.
All the donations coming from corporate donations suddenly stopped because the account numbers had changed and they weren't able to make those deposits.
Curley says whoever's behind this attack not only impersonated him to drain his bank account, they also opened up credit cards in his name, racking up $30 grand in charges. While those were reversed and the money returned to his account, he filed a police report. But because he has no idea how they got his information or where the person is, Curley fears no one will ever be held accountable.
Unless it's a local kind of case where suspects can be identified in a specific venue, you can't get a lot of police attention to a specific problem. So then it's pushed back onto the federal government, and that's where you get back into the federal government is trying to defend our national security assets. And as many federal government agencies have told us at times, it's difficult for them to even protect themselves.
Fred Burton has been described as one of the U.S.'s top security experts. He joined the global intelligence firm Stratfor after working for the U.S. government in counterterrorism for nearly 2 decades.
Until you experience this yourself, you really don't realize how bad that it could be.
And he should know. Stratfor was one of a handful of major companies along with the federal government that was hacked almost 5 years ago. The Stratfor breach included a reported 5 million internal emails with client data, employee memos, and information on Stratfor policies.
It's the kind of issue that is so large that you could be attacked by any number of actors depending upon what has actually been stolen, whether that's personal history data, Facebook messages, spoofed email addresses, or credit card data.
The Federal Trade Commission reports that identity theft was the number 2 most reported complaint in 2015, with almost 500,000 calls.
You are pushing a boulder up a hill when some of your personal data does get exposed out there because you get a sense that there's nobody that can help you.
Seems like they just keep watching you. In a minute you put your guard down, they go right back after you.
He says they try to go after him every chance they get.
Non-stop, continuous, every 90 days I have to put a freeze on my account so that nobody applies for credit. If I was to give you a guess, I probably spend about 15% of my business hours working on this. That's 15% of what I lose from my time in my own business.
And a lot of sleepless nights too. Not only protecting his identity, but his son Alan's memory. And all of the kids he's trying to protect too.
It makes it difficult to continue trying to help out, and it seems like they're banging on your door trying to stop you.
And if you head to our website at fox7austin.com, you'll find a list of security tips from Fred Burton. Rebecca?